Hey besties, it's B. Welcome back. You may or may not have noticed I took a little miniature break, had to take care of some health issues, still working through that, but it's good to be back on the pillow. It wouldn't be another episode with B if Bubby didn't get comfortable first. So you get comfortable too, because this one, it's probably going to be a little bit triggering for some of you. You know, that's what we do over here. The truth hurts sometime, but we're gonna work through it together because what I'm talking about today, I am actively working through myself. And if I'm being honest, I think part of the reason why I'm having these health issues and experiencing a lot of symptoms right now is because I have not set enough boundaries in my life to prioritize myself. You know, I love a good lesson. I love a good slap in the face from the universe being like, bitch, get it together. I love it. So I'm actively working through this, but I can tell you I've learned so much in the past couple weeks about myself, and I hope it helps you too. Boundaries is the name of the game, okay? What I think is kind of interesting is that I think in the recent years, our generation has been really loud and proud about boundaries. Like you hear this word all the time, but you don't actually hear like how to actually set boundaries and the things that come with setting boundaries, because it's not just like la-di-da, here's my boundary. It's more like la-di-da, here's my boundary. Now here's all the bullshit that comes with me standing up for myself. So let's get into it. Boundaries are easier said than done. I mean, we logically know that they're necessary, but they're easier to say you want to do them than actually applying them. See, the thing about setting boundaries, what people don't tell you is that it actually takes a great amount of courage to set boundaries. We would all be setting boundaries if it was just easy, but what's one of the most difficult things that happens when you set a boundary? If you're setting a boundary with a person specifically, our first thought is, oh, I don't want to upset this other person. I don't want to offend them, right? We always are probably thinking about the other person. So first of all, congratulations, kudos to you. If you have a hard time setting boundaries, you're a really kind motherfucker. We love that about you. But as your bestie, I'm gonna need you to have a little bit more aggression moving forward. And I'm gonna help you with that. Oftentimes, you know, people can interpret our boundaries as being offensive to them. And so I think what many of us end up doing is we become people pleasers. We become too agreeable because it's easier to protect someone else's peace than our own. You hear what I said? It's easier to protect someone else's peace than my own. But that's not fair to you. And I'm here to validate that for you. That is not fair to you to constantly be putting other people's peace before your own. That's not a life that you need to be living. And look, I know that's easier said than done because sometimes that comes with a lot more than we asked for. It's unfair. People can be really rude and sometimes even abusive, gaslighty, manipulative when we choose to protect our own peace. But you have a whole life worth living, and if you go through life constantly putting others' needs before your needs, it will catch up with you in one of many forms. Like for me right now, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, and what that fatigue has turned into is a lack of creativity, unmotivation, irritability, because it's all a domino effect that when I can't make content and do the things that I want to do, I get frustrated. And so I had to be real with myself, like, why can I not have the energy to do the things that I need to do, that I'm supposed to be doing? Oh, well, it's probably because I'm not saying no in other areas of my life right now. What I don't want for you guys is if you continually say yes to things that are out of the scope of your work or continue to do things that are just for other people's benefit or make them happy and it's not something that you genuinely want to do, you might get burnt out. And I think I'm experiencing burnout right now. I'm not gonna lie. Content has been really difficult for me. It's been hard for me to come up with ideas. I've been so tired. And I don't know if this is tied to the health thing or maybe it's all one thing together, but I know right now because I'm not feeling my best self, the boundaries have to be a little stricter right now. And that's tough for me, okay? So if anyone understands it, I get it. But I also don't want you to be in a position like me where now I literally feel like shit because I've been giving to everyone else's cup and I'm not giving enough to my own. And I don't know anyone's explanation. If that means I want to stay home and do nothing, I need that right now. And I actually do because I'm not feeling my best self. So in order to get back to feeling like the best possible version of myself, I have to allow myself myself to just rest. And you guys know I'm a big advocate for rest. And I can't rest if I'm constantly tending to everyone else's peace. And you can't either. Every time you put someone's needs before your own, that's an energy exchange, right? So you're giving your energy constantly to other people. And what happens is when these people aren't reciprocating back to you in a way that's filling up your cup, whether you realize it or not, even if you love these people, they are becoming the energy vampires in your life. And they're constantly taking from you and they're constantly draining the life out of you. And you get around these people and you probably subconsciously are already just exhausted thinking about being around them. Now, it doesn't have to be people specifically, it could be even your work. Because trust me, in the workplace, it happens all the time. I have a friend who was just telling me that she's had to be more assertive at work because if she continues to do other people's tasks that's not in her job description, she's not gonna be able to do her job well. And it's true, but it's hard. And I think depending on who you are, it can be really hard to stand up for yourself. But I think especially speaking from a woman's perspective, women are so used to being people pleasers. We're used to being agreeable. We are literally conditioned by society to be submissive, all that shit. But we're moving into a new shift in a lot of ways in culture. And I know that you guys have probably felt it too, where those days are long gone. It is not your job nor your responsibility to be in charge of someone's peace and happiness and all their emotions. Girl, you got your own shit going on, okay? It's enough dealing with what I got going on in this head. I don't need yours too. I love you, but I'm not responsible for anybody's happiness except for my own and anybody's peace except for my own. I came into this world under the life of Bria, and that's it. Anything additional is amazing, but it's not my obligation or responsibility. And I think some of you need to remind yourself of that. You need to remind yourself that you were not put on this planet to make someone else's life great. I mean, even if you have kids, I know you guys have kids, some of you, that's different. But even then, you can't necessarily control the happiness of your child as much as you want to, but they're in charge of that. You can only set them up with the tools and ways to properly regulate their emotions and go through life so that they can be resilient and strong and powerful, but you can't hand them that happiness. If that were true, I'm sure many parents would have done it already. So here's the thing. I want you to take a different approach to protecting other people's peace. I want you to actually say fuck the peace, okay? Because we're done with it. I wanted to tell you guys, I was in therapy talking about how, like, my goodness, I feel like I'm being pulled in so many directions that I can't necessarily live up to anyone's expectations right now, and I'm just tired. And my therapist was like, Bria, like, you have to have a hard boundary. You have to start saying no without the explanation. I don't owe anybody an explanation. And I was like, look, Miss Therapist, I don't think you understand. If I say no, I don't think you understand what's gonna happen to me. These people are gonna get upset with me. I know they're gonna get upset with me and they're gonna guilt trip me. And I don't like how that feels. So sometimes I'd rather just maybe do the thing unwillingly and that'd be that. And she's like, no, you want the smoke. Bria, you want the smoke. She's like, the next time you need to set a boundary, before you do that, I want you to go in the mirror and I want you to look at yourself. Like Issa Rae does in her show when she's like freestyle rapping and she's like, yeah, I want the smoke. Yeah, you would joke, you know? If I don't set boundaries, then you know I'm gonna choke. So it's time for you to get in the mirror and freestyle fucking hype yourself up. If you're gonna get mad at me, if you're gonna guilt trip me, if you're gonna get upset with me, whatever the fuck, I want the smoke, babe. I still have so much love for you too, but I'm gonna set this boundary because I have to set this boundary. And I am in charge of my happiness, and right now saying yes to whatever XYZ is not aligned with me, and you're gonna have to be cool with it, and I don't owe you an explanation. And that's that. Much love though. Before you send that text being like, look, I'm not gonna be able to go out tonight, like I'm not feeling it, or whatever, don't even say you're not feeling it actually. Just say, look, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be able to go tonight, but thank you so much for the invitation. Understand that setting boundaries can still be done politely. It doesn't mean you have to be like, fuck you and your event. Like, you don't have to come from a mean place. You can still be incredibly kind, but kindness and assertiveness can also exist at the same time. Be direct. In college, I didn't want to go out sometimes, you know, especially now. And as I got to this point of not wanting to go out and party and drink because it didn't feel good to me anymore. It didn't feel fun to me anymore. I'm like, this is gross. The floors are sticky. The drinks are sub fucking par. Like, I'm spending at least $50 to do this of my own money. Like, no, thank you. So as I started saying, I don't want to go out, it was like a lot of pushback from my friends, right? And much love to them. But I just wish it was like understood, like, hey, no worries. We'll see you next time, or we'll do something that's more aligned with what you want to do, right? But you know, we all have those friends that just can't take it. Oh my God, you're so boring. Like, come on, let's go out tonight. But maybe that's not for you and your peace, because you know, going out sometimes is not the vibe. If it raises your vibrations and your energy, then so be it. Go out and have a good time. But if that's not sitting well with you, maybe you want to do something else that does resonate with you. Maybe you want to have a girls' night in. Y'all can watch movies, order all the Thai food. You can still have fun in different ways, right? But it's that pressure of like, man, I don't even want to go through this argument about going out or not, right? But you would seriously rather throw on some outfit you don't want to wear, put on some heels that are making your dogs bark, go spend money you don't even need to be spending money on. You would rather do all that than just say no. That's wild, right? That's how conditioned we are to make ourselves so uncomfortable, spend our own hard-earned cash, get extra bunions on our feet that we don't need, just to make everybody else feel better about us. It's insane. When you hear it out loud, do you hear how fucking crazy that is? I hope you do. Because the more that I say it out loud, the more that I'm like, wow, what am I doing? Fuck your feelings. I love you, but fuck your feelings. Like, I can't be in charge of making everybody happy. That's adding more responsibility onto the mountain of obligations that I already have. If you continue to put others' needs before your own, here's what's going to happen. I told you already, it can come out in a lot of ways where now you're tired in a lot of areas of your life because you're saying yes to a lot more things than you should be. Okay, so that's one. Your body can start to shut down. It's tired, okay? Maybe you're getting sick more often or whatever. Or maybe you start to develop resentment. Resentment towards people who you feel don't validate your feelings when you say you don't want to do something or when you set a boundary, when you say this isn't okay with me. You might notice that when you're around these people, now you're like, here we go. And that's not great too, because at the end of the day, you probably love this job, this person, whatever it is, you probably do, or else you wouldn't be connected to them. But for whatever reason, maybe in the past, they've invalidated your feelings, right? When you've said, hey, this is something that I'm not gonna do, I'm okay, no thank you. Maybe they've invalidated your feelings in some way, and that conditioned you to respond in another way. But over time, what this does is it creates resentment towards the other party. And in order to keep a healthy relationship and prioritize that, you have to set that boundary. It might make the relationship uncomfortable in a different way, but I think in turn, it's still a lot healthier for your relationship because now you are tending to your needs, your happiness, your peace. And if they want to throw their little tantrum, they can do that. But they're going to eventually learn, just like you were conditioned to behave a certain way around them, they're going to learn the more you are consistent with your boundaries. And this is what's important, is that you are consistent with your boundaries. It can't just be, I don't know, let me check my schedule. I'll see if I can, do this, blah, 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 do that. If you know damn well that you don't want to do it. It's no, I'm sorry, right now is not a good time. No, I'm sorry, I can't right now. No, and be consistent. And this is like something you have to do with yourself, I'm telling you, because the reason people walk all over you right now is because you're inconsistent with your own boundaries. You have trained the people around you to treat you the way that they do because you have been inconsistent with yourself. Be consistent and watch how people shift around you. And so what if they're like, we're not gonna invite you anymore because blah, 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 like you don't ever wanna do anything. So what? So what? If that's their attitude anyways, I'm sorry, I wouldn't wanna be around that energy. But what we can all hope for is that when we set a boundary, the other party says, totally understand. I'll see you next time. Or let me know how I can help. Or if they just respect the boundary. But sometimes they don't do that and it comes with guilt or like, I knew you wasn't gonna do it. That type of energy, right? And that's not fair to you. You just take that deep breath and tell yourself good job in your head, even though they're trying to make you feel bad about your decision to do what you actually wanna do. That is not your problem. That's their little tantrum and they are entitled to throw it. But you've made the decision you need to make because you understand the bigger reasons why. And honestly, you're protecting that relationship you have with them by saying no, but they don't know that. You do. Take charge of yourself and your life and the way people treat you. Another thing I want you to be maybe aware of when you set your boundaries is that your circles might switch up. Oh, I started saying no to so-and-so and now I don't really see her. Oh, okay. So let's be real about what that might mean. If you finally set a boundary for yourself and now you're not seeing certain people around, they couldn't get what they wanted from you, so now they're not seeing like the reasons to hang out with you. And I hope that you take this in a way that doesn't hurt your feelings, although it's valid if it does. But now you are seeing your relationship with this other person for what it is. And sometimes that's a bad reality. That doesn't feel good because then it's like quite obvious that they kept you around for XYZ when you were able to do something for them. But then when you made that boundary, where are they? Where they at though? Let that be a blessing in disguise to you, because if a relationship is severed because of a boundary you've put in place, that was not a genuine relationship to begin with. And it's probably for the better that you aren't around them anymore, because that is an energy vampire in disguise that just wanted from you, but didn't want to help fill your cup in a way that you needed. That is like the basic fundamentals of a healthy relationship. You care about my needs, I care about your needs. Okay, we can hang out. That's like the most simple ask. And it doesn't cost any money. It is free 99 just to be a kind person and care about other people. So also, while you're doing this, be cautious of, are you doing this to other people? Do you make others feel bad when they set a boundary, a healthy boundary? Notice it within yourself, because none of us are perfect. But the more we practice it with ourselves, I think the easier it is to see when we do it. Because also, listen, if this is something that's been done to you repeatedly, you better believe you probably do it to other people too, and you might not even notice. So just be cautious of it, because one thing, we all know, what goes around comes around, okay? Put out the energy you want to receive back. But the more you practice it too, the easier it'll get for you to apply to your own life. That is that. Boundaries are so freaking hard, you guys, and we're gonna work through this. I'm working through it constantly every single day with work, friends, family, just everything. And it's such a compliment to be wanted by people, but understand that there is a healthy amount that you are able to give so that you can show up amazing in your life for everything. You can show up for your friends, your family, your kids, your job in the way that you want when your boundaries are set. And you can do that in a kind, loving way. And if that is received on the other end, that is so good. And if it's not, it's okay, because we want the smoke, but we still love them, right? I hope this is helpful. If you have any tips on setting healthy boundaries, please leave them in the comments. I'm not perfect at it myself, and I love to read how you guys are applying this in your life too. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, because we be getting into it around here, okay? But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you next week.